I saw Oppenheimer.
and I never thought I would ever say this in my life, is like I was shell shocked when Florence was topless. I was like,
You surprised?
I was heavily surprised. I was like, wait, they still do that in movies? And then literally I got distracted in the movie because I'm like, am I supposed to be what am I is this
Am I
okay?
supposed to be jerking off right now?
No. 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 Absolutely no.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of We Should Start a Podcast, where we talk about nothing and everything all at once. I'm Donovan, and this is my hetero life mate, Ryan.
Roll the Paul clip.
We shall start a podcast.
It rolled.
It rolled. I heard it too.
Big... What have you done this week? What's going on?
I don't, dude. I was at an event last night for real estate. People are like, man, this year's gone by so slow. And I'm like, who are you talking to? What the hell are you talking about? Going by so slow.
Crazy fast.
It's insane that it's September, October already.
Do you remember the 21st day of September?
Why would I?
I don't know. Do you remember 21st day of September? Is that the right date or is it the wrong date?
I think, well, I guess that's a song. But then
By
there's
Chicago?
also remember the 5th of
November.
November.
Have you seen the thing, speaking of September and November, have you seen the thing?
Skip October. Screw them.
Those guys suck. They're the worst. So the Germans, they're the Germans of the months, I think. Someone said something about Germans last time. I forgot.
Okay.
Was it Jen?
Okay. Can I let me finish your thought. I don't want to interrupt. We're working on that.
We got to talk about, I suck at that. I'm sorry. We got to talk about the end of the world because there's a group of evangelicals. I think it occurs tomorrow, I think. So I'm going out on a limb today and going to do some things I've never done, just in case.
Do you know how many predictions of end of the world have not come true?
A bunch.
All of them.
Yeah. So far, they're batting 0.
So far.
Until it does. And then,
No.
how do you walk that back, you think? You go, hey.
Oh, I didn't carry the 2.
That's
math.
That's the classic, like,
Yeah.
I didn't carry the 2. Bad math.
Yeah.
Math is off. I would feel pretty silly if I had a whole church of people giving me a lot of money or getting rid of their stuff just to say this is the end of the world and then it's not the end of the world. I think you have to change your name and run out of town.
Well, or you do the Jones thing.
Jerry?
Jim.
Oh. Just
You know, you
thought you
just-
mean like just make
just-
excuses
you
for why
know-
it didn't happen for 20 years. It's the same excuse.
I mean, you know, it's funny because I'm sure some people that are diehard fans would have liked the Kool-Aid route instead.
Oh my God! It's been
Instead of the
pain.
20 years of pain, just end it.
I don't even want to talk about the Cowboys, even though I've heard that they're doing really well.
Yes.
I don't even want to talk about it because I'm afraid.
Yeah, if you
it'll
give
screw
it
it all
attention,
up.
it's
Yeah,
gone.
so we're just not going to talk about
It's
it.
been like 2 games.
We're gonna
Simmer
wait.
down.
We're gonna wait until November before we have an opinion.
Well, it's kind of like the Colorado Dion team. It's like everybody loves. My father and I have been loving watching that, and everybody wants them to be like undefeated national champions. But they're literally going to be playing Oregon tomorrow. By the time this airs, we should film 2 versions. They're definitely going to win. They're definitely going to dominate and win. Pause. Dude, they have 0 chance.
0 chance.
0 chance.
It's a miracle that they've done as well as they have. No, I will say this. So
I want them to win.
Eastman Bodine did that hire
Yeah.
of him, and everything that he said he was going to do in that hiring process, he's delivered. Prime had me up until 2:00 in the morning watching Colorado State, and I was just sitting there like, I've been a diehard Colorado fan for the last 3 weeks, like a lifelong fan
what does
for
that
3
B
weeks.
stand for? Bandwagon.
Bandwagon.
Yes.
That's what it's for.
Yeah. 9 million people watch that game.
It's insane.
And it's the stupidest game. Colorado versus Colorado State.
Who cares? No one ever. But he's got some dogs. Like Travis Hunter is insane, lead gifted. I thought that was a dirty hit. Did you think it was dirty? Or was it football?
I thought it was football, but also, yeah, it's probably a little dirty. I think people are being a little too sensitive about it because
They love Dion so much.
Well,
and they-
because of the hype, and then and then the I think Dion was very classy in saying, "Look, it's football. Like, stop."
that was
Move
great
on.
when he's like, "Hey, we forgive him. It's football. The
Yeah.
guy's gonna." Yeah, that was.
And Travis Hunter's like, whatever, it's football.
I thought Travis Hunter's podcast was great. He was laughing. He was like, "Yeah, I got smoked. Like that guy got me." Like,
Yeah, I mean, again though, if you take that hit versus a hit from like 30 years ago, it'd be like it was nothing.
oh, you watch
know?
those old? I've seen a
ripping
reel.
heads off.
Yeah, they're grabbing them by the face masks, just throwing them because it didn't count or it didn't matter. They didn't have that rule or whatever.
Right.
But
The whole game did feel a little dirty, but again though, there's a bias because everybody's rooting for Colorado.
I do think, I mean, there's something to be said. So Shadur doing the whole watch thing, you know what I mean? Like, here's the deal. I feel almost like because the whole vibe started when it was the game before this. It was Nebraska, right? And they beat Nebraska. They went out and stood on the Buffalo in the middle of the field, and Shadur got upset and showed him his watch, which is kind of the funniest thing ever to me. I love that. But
Is he saying like, "Hey,
I don't know if he's saying, "Look what time it is," or "This is
"Hey,
a $10,000 rolling."
$10 billion, whatever."
But like, what I think is great is it seems like those instances, that's what that team lives on. That team lives on being like, there's a created drama, and it's cool. Don't get me wrong, I like it, but like, it's making sports fun. I like it.
There's that luck factor as well, and by luck factor, I mean Deion Sanders had already signed the thing with Blender. He had already ordered the team had already ordered all these sunglasses, and then the coach is like,
Oh, that's
hey.
great.
And then he's like, "Thank you.
I have an amazing idea.
I have an amazing idea that I've already have in route."
I ordered us sunglasses.
Oh, nice.
I did. We have 2 gold ones coming our way. I think
Are
they
they
get here on the
prime?
23rd. Yeah, they're the one. I got the ones that he wears. You're not gonna get the Deion
Not
Sanders
gonna not.
glasses.
Yeah. No. Anyway, because this is a sports podcast.
Today, apparently,
Yeah, we know all the sports.
it's gonna be great.
It's good. During the Olympics, watch us live stream badminton and rowing.
What's the one? Oh wait, that's not it. That looks gay. Can't use that.
What is
no,
it?
no,
we're
it's the
using
thing.
that.
What's
What
the
is
thing?
that? That's,
What's the thing? Is it rowing? Not rowing. Where they go? They have like a little broom.
Oh, curling.
Curling.
Winter Olympics.
Yeah, Winter
That's
Olympics.
actually, yeah. Yeah.
Are you a summer guy or a winter guy? I like the winter better. Winter Olympics anyway.
I think it doesn't matter because it's like you want to USA it up no matter what.
You strike me as the type of guy, because I'm this type of guy, that really does get a kick out of the figure skating. I love it. I can't get enough. Like, if it's women's figure skating, I'm in. Like, sign me up. I'll watch the whole damn thing. I had a big crush on Christy Yamaguchi when I was little. I wanted to marry her face off. And then I really liked, the girl who got clubbed in the knee. And honestly, I thought Nancy Kerrigan, maybe, she kind of had it coming. I'll take. Just saying, But back to Colorado.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way that Oregon doesn't stomp them out. Like, I don't see it not happening. I feel like
So
Oregon,
you don't believe?
I believe
You do not
in
believe.
statistics. And statistically, what Shadur Sanders is doing is insane, and that what that team is doing is insane. But honestly, if I'm Prime, I'm going, hey, we won no games last year. This year we've 3-0.
Right.
I've earned my money.
I think the message in the locker room has to be like, it's the whole Any Given Sunday. It's the, hey, let's watch the Miracle movie, ice hockey on repeat. Mm-hmm. It's like they're going to win 9 times out of 10, but there's that one time. I know that doesn't really translate to football when, actual size matters. Because like when you have an offensive defensive line that is like 2 times your size.
Here's the deal. If they beat Oregon, I don't even know what to think, dude. It's going to be, they might. If they beat Oregon, then maybe they will be.
If they beat Oregon, like literally Colorado school will be on, they're going to move heaven and earth to expand that stadium before the season ends.
Oh yeah, they've already sold out
They've already
tickets.
first time ever.
Did you see the thing? This is not about Colorado, but did you see the thing? I think it was Notre Dame, where it was like how much you paying for these tickets, and it was on Twitter, and it's like the whole stadium, but then there's this one row of seats that's like right against a wall where you can't see anything.
You can only see like 15
You
yards.
see the red zone of like the other team, yeah, like, and that's
of
it.
one. Yeah.
That was hysterical
That's
to
horrible.
me.
That's to me that's criminal.
But I guess like a school like Notre Dame, I mean, they're
It's not Notre Dame. Notre Dame has an open bowl, I think.
Oh, okay. Was it maybe it was USC? What? Okay. Well, then that defeats because I was gonna say if it is Notre Dame, or if it was Notre Dame, I could see where it's like, well, we haven't done anything to the stadium
Well,
since
the Cotton Bowl stadium's like that,
it is.
where there's like certain seats that are behind a pillar, and you're like, "What? This
Sucks.
doesn't make sense."
Yeah,
I don't know.
I've never been to a professional football game.
What?
I've been to a lot of college. I went to a bunch of TCU games
So-
when they weren't good, or when they had LT. They were kind of good,
But you've been to like, had you been to a college game or a high school game before?
oh yeah, I played in high school. and
Okay,
stuff.
okay. So it's the same thing, meshed with WWE.
Sponsorships and all that crap.
Well, just the showmanship of it, like when they're running out and like fireworks and smoke and all that. So a little bit, it's like I feel like it's actually, if you want to think about it, kind of gay
yeah,
because it's very like Broadway, but it's football, which is fascinating, and I love it.
Do you, I think the reason why I care so much about football this particular year is because Eastman Bodine was involved with the Prime thing, so I'm really rooting for that. I mean, it's already amazing,
Oh,
but
yeah.
like
Yeah.
also because I was really hoping Aaron Rodgers wasn't gonna break his leg in half in the first game.
First three plays.
Yeah, my wife was like, "Hey, so we're doing that tonight? How long are you gonna last?" I just show her a clip of Aaron Rodgers running out with the American flag.
American flag.
That's how long, baby.
God.
That's how long I'm gonna last. Did you see the video where it showed it in slow motion? His
No,
muscle
I'm not watching that. I'm not watching that.
He had some experimental surgery. He's supposed
Yeah.
to be back by the end of the season.
It's not supposed. That's his goal. Yeah.
I think he should retire.
Come on now.
If I was Aaron Rodgers, I would retire and go tell that actress that he broke up with I was sorry. Because I drink her dirty bathwater. You know what I'm talking about?
And it would be dirty because she lives
Oh yeah,
in the
she's a
trees.
hippie chick.
She's a hippie chick.
But it's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
You go be a hippie.
Just to be serious on Colorado for 2 seconds more.
All right.
What I love most about it is, like, I don't really get to see my parents that much, and my fault. I don't go because I'm always working or whatever. But during football season, I do try to go over there more, and it's just like I've gotten a little fatigue on like NFL. I've gotten fatigued on college games, but the Colorado, it's reinvigorated. Like my dad and I have been getting behind it.
That's awesome.
And it's fascinating to me because my dad's very like cosmopolitan, blue collar, like, there's only one way to sing the national anthem, that type of, the band shouldn't be all hooping and hollering, they should be marching and my day.
Right.
So to see him get behind like a team like Dion in Colorado, I'm like, oh cool, my dad's not racist. Yay.
yeah. What's the there was a thing
Because we love it. All we do is talk about it the whole time.
really.
And then we'll because after the game I'll show him like YouTube videos, and we'll even watch the press conferences, and we'll just laugh. It's great.
He's great. I think he's doing something special there, and I think that now the question is there any way that he stays his entire contract, or is he try to go take Saban's job, or is he try to go to the NFL? I will say historically it seems like college coaches that make the jump to the NFL are ass. Like Urban Meyer, that was ass. That was the worst thing ever.
I think in this day and age, here's what I would hope. I would hope that he goes, look, Colorado took a chance on me. In this day and age with NIL and all these other opportunities, and I think Colorado is smart enough to again, I don't know the deal they made. They say $29 million, but I'm sure there was other stuff there. I would hope that Colorado is smart enough to go, look, he is the golden goose. Whatever kind of random fucking deal, excuse my language, beep. We'll just cut that.
Right.
Cut. Whatever random deal that they had to make to get him there, not just a straight line, hey, you get $1 for coaching. It's like you get $1 for this, you get a bonus for sold out tickets, you get a bonus for this, you get a bonus for every $10 million NIL, you get this for every 5-star recruit. If they could just keep stacking his contract and then also lean on the fact that it's not just money, but the impact he can have. And because I don't think we live in a day and age where, you know, if you're good enough and you bring enough attention, you can be a national champion. Whereas like at Boise State, they could be undefeated for 15 years in a row. They ain't going to the national championship.
Yeah.
But a Colorado, who's won a national championship like 25 years ago, who has this much attention, they're going to the playoffs if they win.
Yeah.
So having the fact that they can go to the playoffs, he can make the money, he can have free reign of whatever he wants, I don't see why he would move.
And here's the other thing. Everybody loves him. Like,
Yeah.
they are like, this is great. And
Yeah.
and the other thing is the players love him. And he loves the players. I saw a thing he did, a podcast where he told this guy who was having a bad game, a wide receiver, and it was in that Colorado State game. He said, they called him over the sidelines and he said, hey, your dad, and his dad, the player's dad's incarcerated. And he said, your dad is watching this right now. And he wants to celebrate with his inmates. He wants to tell them how proud he is of his son. Let's go show up for Pops or whatever.
Right.
And you could think like, oh, that's just a motivational story. But then they cut on the podcast to them talking to him on the sideline. And you can John Boy and read where he's basically saying exactly that. And you're like, this guy's the real deal. Like, he really genuinely loves these players.
Well, and if you look at Alabama, like I love Alabama, I love Saban, I love all that, and I love the history. But you're still going to have a good old boy thing.
Yeah.
They could say they want a Dion, but
not really.
There's going to be friction.
Yeah.
You know, and I think if you're Dion, you want to be in the least friction, do whatever the hell I want to do scenario possible. You know, and that's the same thing with Shedeur. It's like, does he go to the NFL right now? When he's making millions of dollars a week right now, why would he?
What's the motivation? Yeah.
That's my irk about Johnny Manziel. And Johnny Manziel was pre NIL, but if he would have just stayed one more year at College Station, maybe they win a national championship. He would own all the car dealerships around College Station, and he would forevermore be
set.
A celebrity. And I was pointed out by a buddy of mine, Corey Thompson. He's like, "Don't worry, he's set. He still goes to college bars and picks up freshman girls." I was like,
I guess it depends on what your level,
what
of
your
success.
motivations
yeah.
are.
I mean, because Johnny Manziel reminds me of the guy in Just Friends that's like, hey, what's up, class of '92?
Yeah.
You got $5 I could have? Like that. That's what Johnny Football seems like to me. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a cross between that and like the Matthew McConaughey guy, where he's like, "I get older than this is TV."
Yeah.
And you're like, when you're younger, it's like that's kind of cool. When you get older, you're like, that's massively pathetic.
Gross. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so on the football spectrum, you're going to be watching Colorado tomorrow. I'm sure we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
What about? So I went and saw a movie, and I'm trying to remember now. I saw Oppenheimer. I have to tell you,
Let down for you.
100%.
Where did you see it?
I saw it at the theater on the screen that you're supposed to see it on.
IMAX.
The 70 millimeter, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I was there for that explosion. I wanted to see the explosion.
I was let down by the explosion.
I was let down by the whole damn thing, man. Like, it was, like, I saw, and I felt so sophisticated. Have you seen that little teddy, not the teddy, who's the guy that Bother and Honey, 100 Acre Wood, is a bear. He's got a little friend
Huntington bear?
not Huntington
Huntington's?
bear. Hodgkin's
Huntington's-
disease.
Hodgkin's bears. You know?
No, it's a bear.
The HIV bear.
He's got a tiger
Like,
friend.
That could be a new business idea.
No, he's got a
where
tiger
every
friend. What's
bear
his
is with
Jin,
like
you
a-
know what I'm talking about?
Winnie the Pooh.
That's the one.
That's the one.
Okay.
We couldn't think of Winnie the Pooh.
We called him the Hodgkin's
like, literally
bear.
the most classic
Okay.
bear of all time.
So Winnie the Pooh, there's a meme where he's like sitting down and he's like drinking his tea and he's normal, and then he's got like a little like spectacle on. It's supposed to be like him being very sophisticated or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So I felt like sophisticated Winnie the Pooh when I saw Logan Paul write, I left that movie after 20 minutes. It was just a bunch of talking or whatever. Because I was like, oh, you silly, simple-minded boxer. You have no idea what is great cinema.
He's just an influencer.
Yeah, you don't know anything except how to beat a man. Like, because he's like fighter or whatever. And I gotta say, Logan Paul had that movie straight. I mean,
I disagree.
He was right.
I disagree.
Downey Jr. was worth the price of the ticket. Not really impressed by Cillian because he just cried a lot and acted real serious and smoked. I think
He was the same character he's been in every movie for the past 20 years.
he's great. Don't get me wrong, but I don't see. I mean, if they give him an Oscar, it's going to be the equivalent of when they gave. It's just I don't. Oh, we better not say that. But like, I don't think he deserves an Oscar nomination. I didn't think he was that great. I don't know if Christopher Nolan does. I don't think this is his best stuff.
It's not his best stuff. I think it's an amazing. I like the movie from the historical storytelling because it tells a story that we don't really get to see.
Yeah.
We get insights to a world we don't get to see.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I was completely let down by the explosion.
Me too.
I'll be like, just CGI it because you're trying to make this explode. That's not an atomic bomb should look like an atomic bomb, not.
Yeah. Not impressed.
It's like whatever.
I wasn't impressed with the bomb. I thought that God bless her.
Florence.
Not her. She was amazing. She was the
Emma?
best part of the movie. The other Emily Blunt. It could have been anybody.
One thing that was funny to me, and I never thought I would ever say this in my life, is like I was shell shocked when Florence was topless. I was like,
You were surprised?
I was heavily surprised. I was like, wait, they still do that in movies? And then literally I got distracted in the movie because I'm like, am I supposed to be what am I? Is this
Am I
okay?
supposed to be jerking off right now?
No, no, absolutely no. I'm going there going like, I just felt bad because I'm like, is this acceptable in movie? And then it's like, I have this inner dialogue of like, and they're like, oh, you can't do, and it's just like, but at the same time, it's like, whatever, good for her or good for, I don't know, good for somebody, I guess.
Good for us.
But I was just like, yeah, good for
Good
us.
for us.
But I was like, wait, okay.
My thing with it was the only reason I knew it was coming was because the only reason I knew it was coming is because when I saw the trailer, I was that Oppenheimer trailer. It didn't matter what movie you saw, they were playing that trailer to promote it.
Yeah.
And so I was with my kids when we saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah.
And there was an Oppenheimer trailer, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll take the kids to that. But then I read, why is it rated R? I was trying to figure out what's the deal. Why is it?
Right.
Is it language, whatever? And they were like, well, there's full frontal nudity, and I was thinking, Cillian Murphy, or like I didn't even know that girl was in it.
Basically, yeah.
But no, Oppenheimer. Downey Jr. is incredible. He's unbelievably good. I mean, he's just great in everything he's in.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, that's Downey Jr.'s movie. I thought it felt like a he was the most interesting person in the entire thing. Matt Damon was Matt Damon with a mustache. Matt Damon, basically, and everybody else was kind of whatever, except for the guy. Hartnett was good. I liked it. Where's he been? I liked seeing him.
He made Pearl Harbor, never came back. Black Hawk Down was great.
Black Hawk Down's awesome. He was supposed to be Nolan offered him Batman. He said no.
Well,
that's a big oopsie.
Oopsies.
Yeah.
I think if you watch Oppenheimer from a filmography standpoint, like the shots, the locations, the angles, and the coloration, like that's great. If you're looking if you want to be entertained, no.
Here's the deal. I would watch Barbie 1,000 times at home in a row before I had to watch.
I bet you would.
Before I had to sit and watch Oppenheimer in theaters again. Like the last hour, dude.
That's the stupidest take.
No.
I don't know.
No. The last hour, I was sitting there going, "My God." So the bomb went off an hour ago. I thought that was the big climax of this whole thing, and now we're just talking about how sad he is about it. This is great.
Yeah.
And granted, I understand why he was upset, and it was an interesting story, but I guess for me, in Nolan,
They should have dropped a third one.
God,
Is that what your
really
take was?
Drive the point home. No, for me,
I love that debate, by the way. When people are like, we should never have dropped the atomic bomb. It's like, okay, let's have that discussion. You know how you can justify them dropping the bomb? The fact they had to drop it twice.
Yeah. I will say I thought it was kind of morbidly
Obese.
not obese. No, the part where he's saying not Nagasaki or
Tokyo.
No, Tokyo. Yeah, we can't do that because we vacationed there. We have fond memories there. And I was just like, God. I mean, that's how. But then you think of the situation, you go, I guess that's how they had to make these kind of things. Was like, where is it going to have the least civilian impact? Right. Hopefully, the most. But can you imagine? I mean, everybody had to feel sick, like about that. But I guess it was a mixture because we'd had our whole Pearl Harbor situation, so it's kind of like how whenever the government blew up those buildings in New York and then tried to blame it on Saddam Hussein for some reason, and we didn't.
Well, the thing is, like, to understand that whole thing, you understand Pearl Harbor, but also most people still to this day don't understand the history of the Pacific theater versus the European theater. Everybody's familiar with D-Day and the Germans and the Holocaust and all the Nazis and all the fighting, but people don't realize. And I mean, I know, and I've studied just because I was in the Marines, and that's a huge part of Marine culture is the Pacific War. But like the battlefronts like Tarawa and all these islands is in Okinawa, like the amount of like these fortifications by the Japanese, they were fighting like literally to the last man. There's very few prisoners of war in World War II from the Japanese side because they would fight to the death. Okinawa, full families were jumping off cliffs, but not because they were being forced to, but because they literally thought the Americans were going to rape and pillage. And that's just the belief system they had. So for them, they were fighting to the death for their emperor. So the judgment call, at least this is what if Sohail was here, he's like, well, that's just propaganda. Maybe, but it makes sense to me, is like, look, we could save hundreds of thousands of not just American lives, but also Japanese lives if we sacrifice a couple cities.
I will say I asked I'll save that. I did have a friend. I have a friend. We're still friends. But back, he went to school with his kid went to school with my kid. And we homeschool now. But we were catching up after summer. And he's Japanese. And we were talking. And I said, basically out of nowhere, because I'm an idiot person who has no tact, common sense, or brain.
You didn't like anime.
I said, so what have you guys been up to this summer? Have you done anything? You seen any movies? Did you see Oppenheimer? Which is like a needless. I could have said anything.
But
right?
why? I laughed.
But then I felt
bad. Why is that a bad thing?
Well, because it's not a bad thing, but it's also is it a bad thing? Like,
first of all,
people get offended about everything now.
Well, first of all, World War II was very nuanced, and if you could pick little things here and there that are horrible, about everybody.
Yeah,
World War II is horrible all around. Pearl Harbor is horrible. What the United States did to our Japanese descendants that lived in America is horrible. Mm-hmm. There's a reason that descendants get free education is because, like, hey, oopsies, we messed up.
Yeah.
We feel bad. Like George Takei talks about that a lot, about how when he was a child was in an internment camp. It's a horrible. I mean, to me, that's up there with our dark history of slavery. It's a horrible thing. What? Yeah. Don't smirk.
I didn't smirk anything.
You smirked.
No, I didn't. I didn't smirk. No, I had a bubble.
What's a bubble?
It's where you talk for no reason. You know what I mean?
And the air went up and went to your cheeks.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a horrible. Anyway, I was just thinking while you were talking, because we sometimes the whole point of this podcast is we don't know what we're talking about, so we should start one.
Yeah. We really need to get organized.
No. I like this better. We should do a podcast, but it's just like, well, we are doing a podcast. I'm just reading.
Yeah.
But we do current events, and it's two white guy idiots
giving our takes that make
because we're talking about Colorado. So now we can talk about Zelensky at the UN and how it's.
I feel like he doesn't own any other clothes except for that little army outfit he wears.
Here's what I understand.
Which is odd because he's a trained actor who had lots of suits in that one show he played the president. Which is weird that he played the president on a show and then somehow is now the president in real life.
You would think he would just steal the clothes from the show.
From the set and be like, hey, I'm
I
presidential.
already have the outfit.
But he's probably too busy appearing at the Grammys to wish everybody
or the
good
UN
luck.
saying, look, by the way, if you don't support Ukraine in this war, you are directly affecting climate change.
This is what I know. I know that he is not spending the billions of dollars we've sent on a new wardrobe. So he's definitely not buying clothes.
Apparently he is, because he already had the wardrobe, but now he went into like his fatigue.
I will say it's awfully odd.
Chic fatigue.
I don't know. There's a whole Ukrainian rabbit hole you could go down and go, huh, that's odd. Huh, that's odd.
Russell
Branson.
That's
odd.
Not Russell Branson.
Richard Branson?
No,
a virgin?
Brand.
Brand is in trouble for doing something. What's odd to me about Russell Brand being in trouble for this is when he was very popular and famous, he was known for this. For
promiscuity.
For being, hey, he made a joke in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. He's like, oh, I can't have a sip of alcohol because if I have that, I'll be giving waiters rim jobs for a little bit of rock. And he's being serious because he was an addict. He had struggles. He was a sex addict, a drug addict, all the things.
Yeah.
And when he was doing Hollywood movies and everyone
celebrated it,
no one gave a shit.
Not only that,
they were like, this is great.
But they celebrated
it.
it.
They wrote characters for him to play that because they were like, oh, that's awesome. Wait, what'd you do?
Right.
And now that he is like on the opposite end of that.
On the freedom side.
And he's being 100% like, hey, this is what I think about this, is what I'm being. And he's trying to actually be. They're crucifying him for something that may or may not have occurred.
What I think is the funniest aspect of it is all these people that want to be on his side
are afraid to.
They're coming out in droves. But every time there's like at least 2, maybe 3 times in there like, hey, we support him, but hey, direct camera, if he did these things, he deserves the punishment. But proven innocent till get. But they need to have a voice. Me too. Believe all victims. But in this case, But seriously though, if he's
my favorite thing now is the videos that you see pop up now on your Instagram, where it's like a white back. I don't know if all celebrities have like an apology room in their house, but there's like a white background and a camera. They have no makeup on, and it starts like this. They look right at the camera and they go, "Hi." No. It's not even that. They just go, "Hi." So I just wanted to apologize for some things. Yeah,
I'm being your backing track.
But then they say this. Yeah. They always say, so I'm learning, I'm listening. And it's like,
I made a mistake.
No, you didn't make a mistake. You spoke how you feel, which is something that you should be allowed to do without compromise. I watched this documentary last night where this guy was hammering Elon because Elon said that. Not like that.
Okay.
That would have been way more interesting.
Yeah,
but
that would have got the views.
Elon said something about George Soros being evil, right? Which, back in the beginning of the pandemic, we were driving through. So I'm going to come back, but we were driving through Dallas, and they were nailing boards on the windows because there was about to be a protest in Dallas.
This is how they nail?
They nail like that. I don't know how people nail. I've never worked a day in my life. So like they're nailing boards up to protect their stores in Dallas because there's going to be a Black Lives Matter protest. And as we were driving through, I was with Kevin, and Kevin goes, "Who do you think paid for all these boards?" And I said, "Probably George Soros." Now, there is some funny to that because that's a funny thing to say. And you can look at that no matter who you are and go, ha ha, right? A little bit. But I wasn't trying to be funny. I was being serious because if you actually look, but I put it on my stories. Anyway, the Karens came out going, "Oh, that's anti-Semitic as hell." No, it's not anti-Semitic. The guy just happens to be Jewish, but he paid for all this stuff because if you look, he's the guy who's donated the most money. I'm not being mean. I'm not saying anything bad. It's not because he's Jewish. It's just because he's him. That's what he decided to do. But my whole point is you can't say, because he's Jewish, you can't say that guy sucks because now it's anti-Semitic. That's
why.
I don't know, but I was watching this documentary. So this guy's interviewing Elon Musk, and he goes, "When you said these things about George Soros being the worst and da-da-da-da, don't you think that's terrible because it puts out this anti-Semitic viewpoint and this da-da-da?" And Elon's just like, "Wait, I'm pro-Semitic. Like, if anything, like, what are you
Right.
talking about?
Right.
Like, how does
Well,
that?
it's the same thing, and then we need to come back to Russell Brand because that's a huge thing. But like with Elon Musk, they came after him because like he had Starlink over Ukraine, and then Ukrainians were going to use it for like to control their drones to blow up ships, and he turned off that Starlink, the internet for that because he didn't want that to be involved. And then they were saying that he was a people were calling for him to be labeled a traitor and a whatever because he did that, and he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. The only reason they even have internet at all is because of me. I don't want our system to be used directly in the conflict because then that opens up America to be directly involved with Russia, and then also, by the way, Russia's gonna start shooting his satellites out of the sky.
My thing is, all of them are Ashton. Here's the deal: everybody
Ashton
who's
Kutcher?
on that vibe and on that train of like, oh, well, why aren't you helping? Those are. I just view all of when I look into that crowd in my mind of what that looks like. It's just a bunch of Ashton Kutchers and Mila Kunises. It's just a bunch of Mila Kunises and Ashton Kutchers living their fake life in Hollywood, cashing their endless checks, supporting charities that they never have anything to do with,
Are
and
you
going.
against Ashton and Mila?
I am against anybody that is in 100% complete blind support
Oh yeah,
of
anything.
anything.
Yeah.
But specifically of you think I'm talking about Danny Masterson? I'm not. Like, oh,
Oopsies.
well, why don't you answer?
That was me.
Like, I'm not even talking about Danny. That whole thing. I would never write a letter for anybody anywhere ever. Like, and I don't know who their agent was that was like, "Hey, this is a good idea. You should write this letter. We're gonna do this."
It might
But
not even an age
may-
thing. It might just be like
based on friendship.
I mean, if you know somebody for 20 years, the thing is like if you know
Did you
somebody
see how
for 20
quickly
years,
they walked that back though?
I didn't pay attention.
They were like, "Hey, we've known this guy. This is not indicative of the guy that we knew." Blah 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 blah. Which honestly, that's a pretty fair statement. I think that's
Right.
neutral. But they had to go to their apology room
But that to me
and
that's-
post a video
but
without any
it's
makeup on, explaining.
Similar to me, like when Johnny Depp was doing his bullarchy, and all his former people were coming in like, look, we've had our disagreements, but he's never physically abused me.
Yeah,
I've never seen him be like that.
yeah.
And it's kind of like the same thing with Russell Brand, bringing it back because we pivoted.
Yeah. Tell me.
It's like, yeah, he's admitted all that, and it's just insane that it's like, oh, now that he's speaking truth to power. The craziest thing of it all is the fact that the UK Parliament is sending these letters to brands, to YouTube, to Rumble, to all these places like, hey, you should demonetize them. Like, first of all, like if I was the US government, I'd be like, wait,
Hold on a second.
hold on a second.
Yeah.
Google, YouTube, you're allowing another government to censor how you're doing things in our country? Like, and I don't even know
Well,
if
of
he
course
lives
they
there
are,
or lives
because
here or whatever.
I mean, look who's in charge of things, right? He doesn't even know what's going on.
The king?
Not the king. No, I'm talking about
president.
our guy, Uncle Joe. Poor Joe, Grandpa Joe. He's gonna run, I think, or he's gonna walk at a brisk pace.
He's not gonna walk.
I think it's.
He's gonna need the wheelie shoes, and they're just gonna push him.
I don't even know what to think because it's gonna be Trump and Biden again, and Trump's not even doing the GOP. Like, I will say, I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty. I don't know. Ballsy is not the word because it's not even ballsy. It's just irrefutable. What would it feel like to be running for something that you lost, but that you have such an overwhelming lead in that you don't even have to go debate the other people? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it doesn't matter. I don't even need to go. What kind of power is that? What is that?
I don't know.
What do you think of this? Who are you voting for? Who are you supporting
Right now?
Yeah, like if you had to vote today, who would you support?
Probably Vivek.
Really?
Yeah.
You like him, huh?
Yeah. But I also like RFK, and he's a Democrat, supposedly.
I like RFK a lot.
I actually was just thinking while we were talking, like, what if we said, you know what, 2023, 2024 is batshit crazy loony town. What if we went back to 1776 land where president is what if, hey, this time around RFK's president and his vice president is Vivek, and then in 4 years Vivek is president and RFK's vice president.
I mean, let's talk about reaching. I mean, that makes
that'd be that. Hey, let's go moderate all the way down around, and then let the Republicans and Democrats, do their fizzle to rationality.
so as a brand consultant guy and as a what does it look like guy, I have to say I think an unbeatable ticket, unbeatable, completely unbeatable. There's no way it'd be Trump and Kennedy.
Ooh.
Trump and Kennedy would win the whole thing, landslide,
No matter what.
no matter what. I think if Trump was smart, which I think he's proven, and that's the other thing. I hate when Rosie O'Donnell and people like that are like, "Well, he's just stupid." No, he's not stupid.
You know
You're
who his uncle
you're
was?
stupid. You
Yeah.
have like you.
First of all, sorry, keep going.
But it's like these people who, because they were funny and cute when they were younger, have had a platform, and now they're just sitting back cashing checks. When they give an opinion, like, well, that guy's stupid. It's like, you
It's
can't even
ridiculous.
conceive. Like, you have no conception of what it takes to. You wouldn't be a. You couldn't hold his jock. Like, as far as his
that's
brilliance.
the thing is like, and if Sohail's here, he'd be like, well, he gets lucky a lot. It's like,
Does he?
that's a lot. But
Like-
here's the thing is like, do you think like when it comes to intelligence, sometimes it's genetic? Like,
Oh, yeah,
certain
it has to
families
be.
are smarter than other families.
100%, I think.
Do you know who Trump's uncle is?
Isn't it like a friend of Tesla or something? Like, wasn't he a friend of like Nikolai Tesla?
He wasn't a friend of Tesla. What it was is he was the guy that the government or some institution, when Tesla died,
He took all
Trump's
this
uncle
stuff.
was the one that had to come in to try to like sort out and what's all this mumbo jumbo inventions. So literally, the guy that was called in to understand Tesla, Nikolai Tesla, is in that genealogy of Trump, and they're trying to say he's an idiot. And again, I think his antics is I just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut
If
up.
he would, he would do it with a lot of favors.
Oh my God.
He has no. That's the other part, though. So. I don't know. I think I like bringing back that because here's the thing:
Yeah.
we should be able to talk about both candidates,
Of
and we should be
course.
able to talk about them openly and honestly. And I think if anybody's being open and honest, Joe Biden ain't it. We fucked up.
I heard another
Shouldn't have voted for that guy.
I know. I heard another take on it that I've never heard of before. And it's from the Breaking Points, Kristen Sager. And what they were talking about is like, you know how like in Ohio and Wisconsin, they have the farm thing. So the candidates always don their flannel shirt.
Oh, yeah.
And they go out to the pasture and they're trying to be one of us.
Oh, it's
And
cringy.
And what they brought up, the point they brought up is Trump has never done that.
No.
He shows up in his suit.
Same
And
suit,
same suit
red
everywhere
tie.
I go. He's like, this is who you're getting. I'm not that.
Mm-hmm.
Fetterman. That's what it came from. Because he's, you know anything about that?
Here's what I know about
He
Fetterman.
dresses worse than you, and he's a senator
Yeah.
in the Senate halls.
Yeah.
It's disgusting to me. It's like, have bad dress. I dress bad. I get it. But I'm also not a senator. If I was a senator, I'd wear a jacket. I'd wear slacks. I'd wear a suit.
Yeah. I think it's kind of low key hilarious that John Fetterman beat Mehmet Oz in a. Can you imagine? What's he up to? What's Dr. Oz doing now? Did he have to give his doctorate back after losing to that guy? Because here's the thing, like
'Cause he was basically stroked
he
out
had a
dead.
stroke. He wasn't even doing anything, and then
People really don't like you at that point.
yeah, you just must suck. If they picked Fetterman overwhelmingly, by the way, over you, either you suck
Looking like that, talking.
or the argument
yeah.
could be made that the system is rigged and run by the Democrats. There's also that argument. I could see. I never believed that until I saw that race and was like, you know what? Maybe. Maybe.
The level of self-importance and narcissism, or just plain out stupidity, to like be a senator and wear shorts and just a shirt,
I don't even know if it's stupidity because the
or
guy
is just
well, here's the thing. He did a thing where he was on and all these people, by the way, all these people are people that I love everybody. I like everybody, but I also call a spade, and I'm sorry, that guy should never have been elected, in my opinion, based on his cognitive ability.
Right.
However, I feel for him. I watched his little speech where he talked about, I don't understand things so good anymore. and that's why I'm dressed as a farmer today, or or what he didn't say that's why I'm dressed, but he was basically saying I don't understand. It takes me a lot longer. He got real emotional. He rambled for like 4 minutes, and I don't know what it was about.
But here's the thing is, and you can feel for somebody. You can have
And I do
empathy
feel
and
bad.
sympathy for people like that. And you can pray and goodwill and all that. But at the end of the day, his job is to represent his state and the millions of people that live in that state. It's the same thing with Biden. His job is to guide and represent the 340 million people of the United States. Both blue, red, in between, all the above. Even the people that hate the United States. His job is to protect us and manage us and all those things. You can't have a bumbling idiot in charge.
Don't you think the double standard of so when Trump beat Hillary and there was that whole thing, not my president, remember?
Yes.
The double standard of not my president then, and the way they vilified him, his entire administration, versus canceling white guys for being like, Joe Biden's kind of old. You know what I mean? They get mad. It's like, what did you say? What do you mean he's old?
The joke I used to have a couple years ago was like, what I hated most of 2020 was not COVID, but it was the fact that for 3 years, for 2017, 18, 19, I could live in a world where, Trump's an idiot. Move on with my day. I didn't vote for Trump. Move on with my day. And then in 2020, I'm like, oh. Basically, what I'm getting to is what I hate most about 2020 is it was the year that I was like, I had to feel bad for Trump because he was obviously being attacked by everyone.
Yeah.
Unfoundedly.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he's a criminal. Is he? They've been coming after him for 5 freaking years.
Yeah.
And nothing. It's like, what is he, just made of Teflon? And it's like, you can just, I don't like the guy. And that's what I'm saying is like, I don't like how he presents himself.
Right.
And the fact that I'm like a Trump apologist now. It's like, I'm not. I just don't. It's the Russell Brand thing. Like, I don't know Russell. I barely watch his stuff. Good for him. I don't necessarily know his lifestyle before, his lifestyle now. Probably, he's probably a good time.
Here's the deal.
The way they're coming after him, it's like, come
it's
on,
not
really?
fair.
Look
Yeah,
at this.
It's unfounded.
It's coordinated.
My thing is, you can't. I have friends that say, if you're voting Republican, if you're doing conservative stuff, if you think this, then you're just the worst people in America, and it's just like, you can't say those kind of things because it's so overly divisive. You know what I mean? You're just fueling the fire. So you can't sit on your left side and tell somebody else, hey, you're terrible because you hate kids because you vote Republican and they think it's cool to have guns and guns is what kills people. That you made a bunch of big jumps to get to there. You know what I mean? Like, that's not really what it comes down to. You know what I mean? And the fact that the whole the Black Lives Matter thing, I'm sorry, but as a guy who's voted for both Democrats and Republicans, the Democrats screwed up big time when we told African Americans in the 70s, hey, everything's going to be fine. Just vote for us and we're going to take care of you. Have we? Have we taken care of them? I don't think so. Oh. I don't think we've taken care of them at all. I think we tricked them. I think we tricked them.
Who is we and who is them?
Democratic Party and the African American voter. I think we tricked them into voting for us and promised them the moon.
So you're a Democrat.
Historically, I've been more liberal than I have been conservative. Although I will say, like most things, as I've gotten older and as I have children and as I've become a business owner, specifically, it makes a lot more sense for me to be on the right side of the aisle.
Right.
I voted for Trump both times. I felt good about my decision. I couldn't vote for Hillary, and I wasn't going to vote for Biden.
I will go on the record and say I voted for Hillary on the basis of the Trump buffoonery of what he is. And it's like, I don't...
Oh, yeah, he's a cartoon character.
I don't agree with Hillary politics. I don't agree with anything she stands for. I do think she's a crook, but I also think all of them are crooks.
They're all crooks,
But I also knew or believe that she would have completely dominated being president. She would have been in that office 20 hours a day. She wouldn't have been going golfing like every 5 seconds. And she would take the job seriously. Because think about Hillary Clinton, and again, I hate vouching for her. But people forget.
I have people that I like that are murderers too. It's okay.
Yeah, but she, like, if you look at her CV, like, I mean, she worked with Kissinger. Her CV, her resume is probably better than her husband's, and her husband was president.
Yeah, but he had a penis.
Let that sit for a minute.
Because I got to tell you, there was no greater feeling in the world than watching all of these hairy-badged, old 50-year-old women
Like we're breaking the ceiling.
that were
glass ceiling.
having an absolute meltdown when Trump won.
There's a song.
I didn't even care. I didn't even care.
And then they were just like devastated.
And I was just watching that one lady on CNN have a meltdown on TV that goes, yeah, you're not dreaming. This is reality. Blah, blah, blah. It just has this breakdown. And you just see her realizing, oh, my gosh, someone's going to take my matches away. I hate this. You know what I mean?
I think SNL's best moment of their entire lifespan of their history.
Dave
Chappelle immediately after election in that one skit where it's where we're finally doing it. He's like, yeah, well, it's a long night.
Yeah.
And then like, well, we're gonna win in Ohio. And he's like, oh, so he's just calling him out. And it was just anyway. But
here's the thing: I love everybody. I would vote. I voted for Obama both times.
Never.
I voted Obama both because the one guy believes that we're all going to go to a special planet when we die. The Utah guy,
Romney. He just retired.
Oh, he did?
Or
I was wondering what happened.
I don't know if he retired, but he just said he's not running again for senator.
Well, that's good. Probably.
No.
Because my thing is, if you're going to be a Republican, be a Republican. Don't be a Democrat that's masquerading as a Republican. If you're going to be a Democrat, be a Democrat. Don't be one that is, for me, Romney was a rhino. He was Republican in, what is it? It's Republican in name only.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because he
to get political,
Yeah.
not that we haven't been for the last
Yeah.
20 minutes, I am fiscally Republican, socially don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But it used to be like that, but the more socially out of whack, and again, I always mess up liberal versus left, so he'll get mad at me. But like Bill Maher has been a classic thorn in the Republican side for the last 20, 30 years of how left he is.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's a moderate / leaning right, and you're like, wait, Bill Maher? That just tells you how crazy the end of the spectrum has gone.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, there is no line anymore, and God forbid. I mean, if you know where the line is, be real careful, because if you say anything that's over it, you're done, right? Or they try to make it feel that way. And I don't know. I think Trump's going to run. Obviously, he's running right now, but I think Trump's going to run with someone like Kennedy.
I wish he wouldn't.
Or I think he'll run with someone like, I don't think Vivek, for whatever reason. Actually, I do think Vivek. I heard an interview where Vivek said, "They go, hey, so would you be vice president if, would you run it?" And he said, "No, I'm running for president." And I said, "Bullshit! You would 100% be vice president because you're a heartbeat away from the presidency, and
the guy's
you're
like 92
I'm
years old.
sorry, Mr. Guy I never heard of until this election cycle. You definitely would be. You would definitely be vice president. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Don't say that. That's the thing that I admire about former President Trump is that he's going to tell you how he feels,
Right.
and he's going to say exactly what he means. He was
Right.
the only person in that first debate in 2016 or 2015. There was 20 Republicans lined up, and it looked ridiculous. You got Jeb Bush, Christie. I think I don't remember. There was the guy from Ohio. There was just this huge line of them. Yeah.
I have a thought.
Okay.
You know who would win in a landslide? It doesn't matter what party. Independent.
Yeah.
Deion Sanders.
Yeah, he probably could run.
Can you imagine if, like, like let's game theory this out. They do well this year. They don't in Colorado.
And then he decides to run for
no.
president.
And then next year, they get in the playoffs, and then within 3 years they win a national championship, and then it's an election cycle. He's gonna run for president. He's not, but I'm saying he could.
I'll tell you who else could run and probably win someday is Dwayne Johnson.
Well,
although it was a real bad look when he and his billionaire ass
think
was
they-
asking us
I think-
for donations.
yeah, but
to
but
give
here's
to
the thing
Maui.
about that is like I think he was able to explain that, like the optics of that, but it's just like the Russell Brand thing.
I can
where,
smell what he was cooking, dude.
But let me finish my thought though. It's like the whole
Jen got that.
what
I said I could smell what he was cooking.
is that a rock? Is that a wrestling thing? You smell the rock cooking.
Yeah.
Oh God, I forgot my train of thought.
You
No,
were saying-
I know my train of thought,
I'm sorry.
which was if I accuse you of something and I get it all over the news, and now all of a sudden you're that accusation, and then it turns out that was false. Like, oh yeah, here's my retraction. No one sees the retraction.
Did he say something?
No,
about
I'm
it?
just
Oh.
saying with the well, he explained the optics of it and the whole situation, and it wasn't what people were saying, but nobody's seen that explanation. They just heard it was there.
All I saw was Hawaiian billionaire asks for money to be donated to Hawaii from non-Hawaiians. That's all I
Yeah.
got.
Yeah, in his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw.
That's
that
how
too.
it felt, and I was like, "Huh, that's weird."
Yeah.
But I love, like I said, I love everybody. I don't know who I'm voting for. If RFK gets the nomination, I'd vote for RFK.
He's not running right now.
What do you mean? I thought he was running as an independent.
Is
he
he
not?
running as independent?
Which is further fuels my speculation that the Trump team's going to go, hey, you want to do something hilarious? Like, why don't we do the funniest thing ever and you run as my VP?
And then oh, you know, maybe even higher to your chest.
Just think of the sign, Trump Kennedy.
Right.
And think of all those crazy people that think that there's reptilians and that there's a pizza place where they kill kids and eat adrenochrome. Think about how much money that would generate, a sign that says Trump Kennedy.
Right. But not only that, if they went into it saying, look, you have your opinions, I have my opinions, we don't have to agree. We can disagree publicly.
That's fine.
In fact, let's debate publicly, but we can get together on our love for America.
Yeah. That's the brand, that's the vibe, and they
We
would
love
win.
America.
They
We
would win
hate
everything.
each other, but we love America.
Hey, you know who was wrong about? Somebody I was way wrong on?
What?
Herschel Walker. You remember him?
Yes.
I was again, I flippy floppy, right? I vote for policy, not the person. So you could say that Trump is ass, and I would agree with you, but his policy was pretty damn great. I remember.
No wars?
Yeah, I remember having really cheap gasoline. That was kind of cool. And then towards the end of his presidency, it was like every 6 weeks he would roll out some crazy thing like, hey, guess what, guys? We're doing this now.
Well, and I know you had a point about Herschel Walker, but just on
Yeah.
that. And again, this is what Vivek's point is. Trump makes 30% of the country batshit bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, people, they're like, oh, well, what about his policies on immigration and all that? It's like, okay. But what were all the other administrations doing? It's just now you're hearing about it. That he's doing the same thing they were doing.
Who built the cages?
Right.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Who built the cages?
Right. Or how many like literally 0 wars, no new wars during Trump. This is the first president ever. You know?
Let me ask you
Not
this.
ever, but
If I tried to break into Canada, what do you think they would do to me? If I tried to cross the... What?
send them back.
Yeah. So if I tried to break into Germany, what do you think they would do to me? If I had no passport and I just tried to get in there?
Well, I don't know. I don't
Or
follow him.
what if I went to Russia and was like, tried to blend in?
Right.
What do you think is going to happen?
Well, like even
Why
now,
would it be any different?
but like right now in Texas, well, again, we're not qualified to have world change policy moves here, but we could have our armchair opinions.
yeah, it's fun.
But like like what's going on? Exactly. That
Don't
should
get
be-
cocky.
No, but it's like the Governor Abbott put Constantine wire down there at the border, and the Biden administration cut it. But then there's all these camps and everything in the
Wait.
southern border.
Aren't we supposed to have like a czar? Isn't there an immigration czar that's supposed to be doing something?
I don't know.
or is she shopping?
I
What's
just
going on
I
with
just
that?
love the fact that like when the problem is not in their backyard, it's not a problem. But then as soon as like Abbott puts people on buses and puts them in New York, puts them in D.C., oh, Abbott's the problem.
Oh yeah, the governor of New York went from governor of New York to Ed Norton in American History X real quick. Like he, he's definitely not pleased with the situation.
Right.
It's easy to talk about, like you said, when it's not affecting you, but this is affecting all of us.
I mean, it's similar. It's very much like the Ukraine thing in a way where it's like the Ukrainians that are on the frontline battlefield. That's a very real, heartfelt situation. But there's also parts of Ukraine that are like living like day-to-day life like we are in the malls and going
Did you ever
shopping.
see Wag the Dog with
Yeah.
Robert De Niro?
Yeah.
Whenever I think of Ukraine, all I can think about is Wag the Dog.
Is that the one where they fake a war?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had like
Dennis Hopper?
And they had
Not Dennis Hopper,
De Niro's in it. Someone else is. I think Hoffman's in it.
Hoffman,
Yeah.
yeah.
But like, I don't know. It would make you think like, how would they? There'd have to be actors involved, you know, like
Careful. That's what got what's his face in trouble.
who?
Who's the reps? Oh, they're all reptiles, and 70% of the thing I say turns out being true.
Oh, I don't know anything about anything. Mine's just
no, what's his
speculation.
name?
You mean the
Infowars?
I saw him once in Florida so I was at the Henderson, which is it's my favorite little vacation spot in Destin. And
Right.
you go there and it's like you don't even have to go to the beach. They have like it's the greatest. It's this resort in Destin. So there's Destin, which is like everybody has no shirt on and they're all drinking beers, and then there's the Henderson, which is where like you can go to get away from all that. And I was there with my brother-in-law, and our whole family was there, but we were sitting at the bar, and I was like, I think that's Alex Jones. And my brother-in-law, Rob, turns around and he goes, yeah, 100%. Like he just did like one took. And I was like, how can we be sure? We got to get closer to him. And Rob's like, no, that's Alex Jones. But then he like walks by. We just hear him mumble. Incidentally, that night, all the fire alarms went off in the hotel and all the phone lines were dead for 2 hours. Coincidence?
Those
Maybe.
reptiles.
Probably.
No, but you know, it's like you know how he got like sued or for like a $1 billion.
Oh, well, he said Sandy. Well, here's the deal. I have a lot of opinions on a lot of things, but I would never be the guy to say that when it comes to people's children and all that stuff.
Well, yeah.
That was. I mean, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll end on this, but it's like because I have opinions on that too, and I think we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
But it was just the whole, again, horrible human being. Beat him up on the street, kick his ass, whatever, slice his tires, whatever. Sue him for $1 billion.
$1 billion.
It's like, okay, the Aaron Brockovich thing was like $300 million. You know, like 20-year cases of cancer and all this, they're getting $500 million.
Well, it doesn't.
And it's like he says mean things on the internet, which are horribly mean. Again, horrifyingly. I'm not trying to take away from what he was saying.
He's a sconce.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, crisis act. You didn't have kids. They were actors. How fucking dare you?
Yeah.
But $1 billion?
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
And it's just so they can cripple him because they don't want him to talk anymore. Because
But that goes back to the Russell brand.
exactly. Because the reality is we do not live in a free country.
Nope.
At all. We should start a podcast about this.
We should start a podcast where we talk politics, sports,
And
current events,
and that's
and,
it.
and movies, pop culture, sex drive therapies.
Are you needing some sex drive therapy?
I need some sex. Thanks, Jen. On that, we'll see you next time. Oh, wait.
No, you should do it. You're better at the outros than I am.
All right. This podcast
Was brought to you by.
might have been brought to
It was
us
brought to you by Devil Dog Dungarees.
Devil Dungarees
Yeah.
that may or may not actually exist. I don't know.
It is. It's brought to you by Devil Dog Dungarees. If you like, subscribe, comment, we will pick somebody. We'll send you a $100 gift card. Knock yourself out. Buy some hats. Buy some jeans. That's what they're known for. Devil Dog Dungarees.
Bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of We Should Start a Podcast. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell people you don't like. In fact, that's the best advice I could give you now is tell somebody that you don't like today that there's this really great podcast that they should listen to. And then the joke will be on them. Am I right?